Hi, team. Welcome to the Escape podcast for Star Wars The Old Republic. This week, we'll review the leaks and PTS notes for Game Update 3.2. We'll also cover the latest SWTOR news and the fun stuff going on in our guild, Alea Iacta Est. As usual, we have an astromech standing by to record and broadcast this show. Hey, EPC 83, are you ready to fly? What? Why am I making you wear that hat? Well, you see, I'm now a costume designer, apparently. And maybe not a very good one, but that is a great hat. So get in the pod. Hi, Seema. How's it going, and what have you been up to?
Oh, I tell you, it's all in the hat. Hats are everything.
Yeah, how many ops do we do just to get the hats?
Yes, the Taco Bell hat and
Yeah.
other various hats. Things are going well. I've been playing my operative a little bit, still trying to get her to 60, which led me to ask you the question that I asked you earlier, which is, when you melee, do you hit your keys harder? Which is the reason I asked is because I very much do. It's like when I'm trying to stab people, I'm like bang, 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 bang on the keyboard.
And I don't know if I do. So I will have to. Is that melee versus ranged or DPS versus healing?
No, I think it's melee versus ranged. Yeah.
Because I could see having a light touch for healing, maybe, but I, I, I rail shot real hard. I don't know. I don't know.
I'll have to do some scientific experimentation. I think it's melee versus range, but maybe it's DPS versus healing. I'll have to check.
Okay.
Well, let's see. Ops this week. We actually do have TOS on farm now, not just predicting it or saying it, because we did complete the instance finally. We had been getting Underlooker down the previous 2 weeks, and we had gotten the fight after that down, but we had run out of time before doing Revan. But this week we started and we just blew through the whole thing, and we one-shotted Revan on our first try, which I was really glad, because I know most guilds do, and I would be really embarrassed if we wiped on the Revan fight, because the story mode version of it is very easy to pick up.
Yeah, it was easy. It was fine.
Yeah, so that's good. And then, so after that, we went, I don't know, was this on Sunday? We started with, then we did the Ravagers first thing on Sunday, and then we went back into Ravagers and did hard mode Sparky, which we got down on our second try, which was, that was really gratifying.
Yeah.
I enjoyed that. And then we went and took a look at Bula, which was hilarious. But so then we went from there to Malafar in Temple of Sacrifice and tried Malafar, the first boss in there, on hard mode. And we actually made pretty decent progress on him, too.
Yeah.
Didn't get him down, but we had a strat that was working that we practiced a few times, and we got real close. So
Right. I'm sure we'll get that.
I think we're still far away from getting Bula or the walkers down, but it's nice to get, hard mode Sparky, and it's nice to have hard mode Malafar in our sights.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll see. I don't know how far we are on Bulo. I think it's more coordination, which we're not that bad at. We just...
No.
And our DPS is actually pretty good in general in some of those fights. I was looking at the numbers.
Good.
So we could be just fine.
That's good. And then, let's see, the PTS came up on Friday last week, and I actually tried to download the PTS client, but I ran out of space and when it was still downloading, so I had to abort and delete what I had downloaded so far. So I do not have the PTS loaded. I'm not sure what to do about that, actually. I could move SWTOR to my hard drive off my SSD, my solid state drive, but I don't really want to do that, or I don't know, maybe I'll get I don't know. I've always had trouble with the PTS. There's just not quite enough room on that drive.
Yeah.
So.
Is that... Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
If I got a bigger drive, then that's a whole project to move Windows and everything on. I don't know. Whatever. But yeah. So no PTS client for me this time. But I understand you got to spend some time on the PTS, right?
Yes, I did. So that's what I've been doing this week is a little bit of time on the PTS. So I visited Ziost, and I briefly checked out the a couple of the other features and updates and played with some of that stuff, and we'll talk about that more in detail. Let's see, what else did I do? I did fly some GSF on Saturday night with our GSF night, and it was Major Debacle and a couple other people, who's at Crazy Glass Guy on Twitter. He's a glass artist that lives in Illinois, not too far from me. I've actually met him in person, and I have one of his glass pieces. He's a really cool guy.
Nice. Yeah, I've seen it.
Yeah.
It's really beautiful.
It is. It's pretty amazing. I was out of town on Tuesday, which I was a little sad about. I had to go out of town for work, not too far out of town. I had to go to Indianapolis, which was real nice. Indianapolis is a nice town. It's been a while since I've been down in downtown Indianapolis. I was down there. I was near the Indianapolis campus for Indiana University, and it was a nice place. So I was there, and in my place on Tuesday night, Spherix stepped up to run the mandatory fun night, and it sounded like that went well, and it did some time in explosive conflict again, right? Imperial side?
Right? Yes, we did.
And did people get presents?
Yes, people got stuff and everything died, which is, just what you want to see in explosive conflict.
Yep. And so that was great. I did check in on at the end of the night. By the time I finally got done with the 4-hour drive and got out there, I did check in and say hi to people. So I was glad that went well. Thursday, yes, TOS is on farm in literally as well as figuratively now. we did actually get Revan down, and it was good, and it was somewhat anticlimactic, as people have mentioned. Because it took so much work to get through all of that instance, and then you get to that last fight, and you one-shot the fight, and it's not too tough. It's still a cool fight. I like it. I really like the design and the setup. It really reminds me of SOA in a lot of ways. But then at the very end, you finish, and there's a little box sitting there with the purple beam coming out of it, and that's it. It's there's no cutscene or good job or something happened. No, it's just okay. The machine blows up, and all right. I guess.
I mean, Lana and Theron should have come and said, we didn't think you had it in you.
Yeah.
That's why we kept telling you were failing.
Yeah. Yeah. Theron could have come in and apologized for being such a downer the whole time. But
at least in the solo version of it, you see Revan and Spirit Revan kind of recoalescing.
Yeah, and then you come right out of there and you go and then you talk to your faction leader, and they tell you a couple things. So it would have been nice for somebody to say something. But, okay.
Maybe if you do when you have to choose between solo or operations, maybe if you choose operations, there is more conversation after.
Maybe. So we will see on that, but I think we will get the continuation on Zyos. So that's the idea. It is maybe anticlimactic, and you're not exactly sure what happens when you go back and talk to Satil, or you talk to Darth Mar. I almost said Malgus. When you talk to Darth Mar, they tell you, oh crap, something bad. There's still badness going on, and that culminates on Ziost. So we'll talk a little bit about that.
Lover. That's why you always want to say Malgus.
Poor Malgus. He had some good ideas. Let's see what else. Yes, our Sunday was a pretty fast run of Ravagers. It's not world record setting by any means. I think those speed run contests that are going on have it down to about 20 minutes. So we weren't at 20 minutes, I don't think. But we did get through quite quick. But we wiped on Koratani, and I have no idea why, because we did something wrong. And Makia explained it again, And all I heard was wah, 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 25%, 19%, blah, 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 blah. I have no idea how that fight works. But it,
Yeah, I mean, we got her down to a certain percentage, and then she just never went anywhere. And eventually, the bird died, and then I don't know. I don't get it either.
then she got really mad and killed everybody.
Right.
So I don't know either. So yeah, I don't know how that works. So then we did it again, and Makia told us what to. Makia has switched to DPS because we lost one of our DPS temporarily. Dinesh needs to refocus for a little bit, so she's on hiatus for just a little bit. So someone else is tanking. So Makia, because he was DPSing, I think wasn't like telling us what to do.
Right. Because
but he needs to.
Watching his cooldowns and stuff.
Yeah. Well, he's watching his meters. But yeah, no, he's got to keep telling us what to do. I don't know what to do. I just do what he tells me. So we'll have to get back to that.
When we were going through the Ravagers on the trash, I was thinking, we should try that stealth thing and pass some of the packs of trash. But I knew Makia would never go for that because we might mess it up and then we'd have to go back and it would take longer. But if we got it working, then it would take shorter in the future.
And then you wouldn't get your 20th exactly.
I could die happy.
So, but that was fun, and going back in there and two-shotting Sparky was also fun. So I did do a highlight out of Twitch of the stream of us killing Sparky, and I put that on YouTube because I was so proud of us doing that our first time. And then we went and played around with. Oh, we said hi to Bulo, and I don't know, it wasn't that bad, but I think we didn't have him down to like 10% on our first try or anything, so we got him down, I don't know, it was like 30% or 40%. We kept blowing up. We just did not have a strat down yet, I don't think, for the mine carts plus how we'd want to do the tank swap and take the mine carts away and do some stuff around that. So Makia said, forget it. We'll figure out a strat on this. Let's go to Temple of Sacrifice and we'll try the Masashi. Right. The mother of all Masashis. The mother of all Masashi. And my favorite part of that fight is that she can run out. So
yes. Yeah, and it's not far.
We had our at one time I think Sten's the master of running out.
Yeah. He is.
Well, because he's.
Once he's decided that the fight is lost, he's like, okay, I'm resetting it.
So he jumped the gun early, I think, and ran out at least once. But since he's a operative, he stealths, and he basically runs out of every fight. So.
Yeah. or dies trying.
Yeah. So we did that for a while. We got him down to like 8% and just ran out of time and didn't keep doing it. But I think we can get that down without much problem. That should be fine. And then to wrap it up, I did a little. I was on a high after getting hard mode Sparky down and having a good ops night. I kept the stream going and I did a couple rounds of PvP on my Sork, which I'm sure isn't very interesting for people. I need to talk more if I'm going to do that. So I did explain a couple things while I was Sork PvPing. Maybe I'll do it again sometime. Oh, and then the other thing, which if you're looking at the video of this podcast, I decorated, and I showed it off on Sunday, but I redecorated the balcony on my Tatooine stronghold to be this garden theme, which I was pretty proud of. So I gardened it up. I put some pets out there. I put some birds off in the foliage. A couple astromechs out, of course. A couple.
It looks really
geckos.
Colorful and nursery-like,
yeah, garden. Yeah, like a manicured, potted garden.
Yeah.
And then I did that fancy thing with the portraits on the walls to make custom light fixtures, which I was pretty proud of.
Yeah.
That was
actually, very nice.
That was one of my favorite things. And this fountain is just spectacular, mostly just because of the sound effects. It's just nice having the the fountain sound. So in between PvP matches, I can just come into this tranquil garden and hang out and de-stress just a little bit, because I do get a little stressed out during PvP. That's another thing people can watch on the stream. But with that, I think we can get into some actual news.
Continuing our coverage.
Now, an Imperial News Network report.
So first of all, a reminder about Choose Your Path, which is a promotion that BioWare is running that goes until March 29th. If you're a subscriber on the 29th, you'll get a black, purple, striated crystal. In fact, you'll get 4 of them, one for each stat. And if you are a person who used to be a subscriber and have let your subscription lapse, and you resub by the 29th, then you will immediately get 7 days free time. And that's subscription time with all the subscription perks. And that includes, by the way, access to the PTS if you are into that sort of thing. So if you resub now, you get 7 free days and you can go play on the PTS.
Yeah, I didn't even think of that, the PTS access. That's cool. Also coming up, of course, May the 4th will be coming up soon, and we will get a present on May the 4th. Is it the same one as last year? I guess it is, which means I already have it. I
hope it's not the same.
Yeah.
I mean, it seems like it would be so trivial for them to make a different one. This one's called M401S.
It's an astromech. It's like one of these little astromechs I have out here in the stronghold. But yeah, they had one last year, so hopefully it's different, and we get another one. Because I lost my one from last year somehow. I don't know.
How can you? Oh, I get it.
And I hear there's a Cantina tour coming up. What's the word on that?
So this is the one scheduled for April 18th in Anaheim, and they're calling it the Star Wars Celebration Cantina. And I looked up Star Wars Celebration, which is kind of a big thing. You can go read about it on that site, which is StarWarsCelebration.com. But it's a really big con about Star Wars, and like Mark Hamill's going to be there, and lots of actors and writers and animator. J.J. Abrams is going to be there.
Mm.
There's lots of. I mean, it's just a big con, right? So BioWare is having a Cantina tour apparently that coincides with this con in Anaheim. That's why they're calling it Star Wars Celebration Cantina. And they're going to live stream part of it, at least an hour of it. And they're partnering with ESL to bring the live stream part together, which I think is really good news, because I've always wanted them to actually live stream instead of us at home having to watch someone who's streaming it from their phone.
Right.
And I have no opinion on whether ESL is a good partner for them to do this. ESL, if you'll remember, is the esports people that they were going to do the timed race competition thing with.
Mm-hmm.
So this will be our exposure to at least how they help out with live stream.
Yeah.
You can go and get your picture taken in front of the green screen that we mentioned last week, and they made it sound on the live stream like you can be in a pic with someone from the 501st, which is that cosplay group that we've been talking about. And then I think what they were saying is that BioWare will take all those pictures back and put a background on them. I thought maybe they would have backgrounds there and you could pick one, but I'm not exactly sure how that's going to work. But, I mean, it sounds really cool. I think those guys from the 501st, their site looks fantastic, and everyone says they have fantastic costumes, so...
And they do really cool charity stuff. I'm really impressed with those guys.
Yes. And they're trying out they're calling it Cantina Reward System.
Yeah.
Everyone who goes to the Cantina is going to get, I put the code in the notes, but in the live stream they called it a link, so I'm not exactly sure how this will work. So everyone gets a link to a speeder. Actually, I think they get a package and there's something else in it too, but they get the speeder. And when they use the link in the game, they actually get 5 more links. So they get the speeder, but then they get 5 links that they can give to somebody else.
Right.
And then when those 5 people activate their links, they get links that they can give to 5 more people.
Yeah.
So the way they were describing it, they were saying that it would be really hard not to get one of these if you wanted one of them. So we'll see how that works out. I think could be good. I don't know. Yeah, they made a joke, called it 6 degrees of Eric Musco on the live stream, but
Yeah.
they only said it in 2 layers, so I don't know if it doesn't go infinitely. I don't think, like, everyone gets 5 to give to 5 other people, but. And they said, if you want to post yours on Reddit or whatever to give them away, fine. They're fine with that. So.
Oh, I was thinking that it does. It's relative. I was thinking that it's infinite. Anyone who activates one will get another 5, and then you can basically blanket the population, and everyone will get one of these speeders eventually.
You could blanket planet, blanket Coruscant.
We'll darken the skies with goofy pink
and
speeders.
I like them because they have pink. And it's not that I'm a big, like, everything I want everything to be pink. It's just that pink is a light, happy color in contrast to most of the color schemes in SWTOR, which are some variation on brown.
Yeah, true. So, rusty. I prefer rusty, broken down speeders, which
with black smoke coming out.
Which there's good news on that we'll talk about in the segment. In Guild news, we will have another mandatory fun night this week, of course, and our GSF on Saturday. We've got those 2 Guild events weekly still running. That is awesome. We still have prep going on. Check the forums out. We've got the amazing race that is coming up that will be organized by our Guild LL. He's putting that together in the works, and he's got people in the Guild to help run it, and the plans are to open it up to the server. So keep an eye out for more information on that showing up in all the usual places. We are also continuing to stream our Ops nights. We've got a few streamers, Spherix and Corley and a few other people. And I'm continuing to stream our major Ops nights and now the podcast. So Thursdays and Sundays at twitch.tv/newoverlords. Those are our ops nights, and we'll probably stream all of the podcasts now at around 10 or 10:30 Central on Monday nights. So you can look forward to that. And I wanted to give a shout out to the chat room. So now that we're starting to do this, I'll advertise ahead of time so people know that they can be jumping in the chat room. But we had Master Lou and Stratford T, who were in the chat room tonight, so thank you very much. They've been,
Hi guys.
Yeah, they've been adding some notes and confirming that we will be getting an extra astromech, for example, this year for May the 4th.
Saying yes, we can hear you, which is
yes, on the setup. But with that, I think we can talk about the real news this week.
Game changer.
Game changer for
The industry.
So, I don't know if it's going to be the game changer of all game changers, but the game will change a little bit at least. This April 28th. So patch 3.2 or update 3.2 is currently in development. It is on the PTS, and a live stream happened this past week that outlined all of the details of what's going to be coming up for this particular update. It looks pretty interesting. They're adding a planet with a bunch of quests. It's going to complete the story that's happening in Shadow of Revan. And they're adding a major feature, relatively major, the costume designer. And we'll talk about that in detail. But I guess let's start with... So, Seema, you watched the live stream, right?
I did. I didn't watch it live. I watched it, today.
I did end up watching it live. I don't know how I had time to watch it live, but I watched it live. So what was your thought on just the live stream itself?
I thought it was good in that I could hear everything they said, as opposed to, like I alluded to earlier, when we usually get this information. This would have been a Cantina event. So this was all the information they were going to give basically at PAX East at that Cantina, the Boston one. So it was nice to be able to hear them and see them and all that stuff, and not be, the phone thing. But yeah, I mean, there's some good info. I mean, I think they spend a lot of time congratulating themselves and saying how awesome everything is that they could probably just delete from their presentations.
Maybe.
But there's some good info in it.
Yeah. Yeah, it was fine. It was lightweight and lighthearted, and that's fine. It's hard for them to do a lot of interaction with the chat room and the audience and answer a lot of questions. They were giving away some things in the chat, which made it actually quite difficult to even have a conversation with other players in the chat. There were also tons and tons of people in the chat, so they had it on slow mode, so you could only post a note in there once every 60 seconds or something like that. But because they were doing the giveaways, Tate was running the chat room, and he would like 2 or 3 times you would have to type in a word into chat, and that's how you sort of got registered for that little drawing of whatever they were giving away.
The first one they gave away, or when I was listening to today, they actually gave away cartel coins. So I mean, that's instead of just a virtual gift, that's a gift worth money.
Yeah, I think it was 2,400 cartel coins.
Yikes.
The problem with that was, you type in coins or whatever, and that's how you registered. If there's 1,000 people in the chat room and 1,000 people are typing coins and 1,000 people are typing coins more than once, you can't have a conversation in the chat room. So.
Well, I mean, can you ever really have a conversation in the chat room?
No, but before it started, there were people actually talking back and forth a little bit, and saying what they hoped they saw and what they thought of various things, and
Okay.
I don't know. It seemed like it was a little bit of a chat room at that point. It wasn't bad, but then once that stuff started happening, forget it.
Right. Yeah.
But otherwise, it was good. So what did we get? We got Ziost, the planet, and I did go check it out, and it's a cool theme, and it looks pretty cool. I didn't get around to the whole planet, so I'm gonna have to see more of it. I think you sort of need to do some of the quests, some of the missions to be able to get out of the starting area. So it seemed relatively planet-sized, or maybe maybe the size of a Section X, and there was quite a bit to do. I didn't get through all of it though, but they showed off a lot of the concept art in the stream too, so it looked pretty cool. You had some background on what the planet actually is, which was more than I knew before I started looking it up myself. So
Same here. I mean, I googled Ziost because I didn't know what that planet was, and reading from Star Wars Wikia, it is one of the Sith headquarters, capitals, homeworlds. Apparently, Korriban was, and then through history they went to Ziost, and they ended up on Dome Ka. So it's a pretty big linchpin of the history of the Sith Empire. So I predict that we're going to have Lana and or Satele saying they sense dark presences there.
yeah, yes, I bet they will. I bet something like that will happen. In fact, I think even in the cutscenes leading up to it, there is, on the Imperial side, Lana's the one who, when you need to go to Ziost the first time, she shows up on the holo and tells you that bad stuff is happening. So, and we're gonna go there. So, spoiler alert. Close your ears. There are some cool things happening there. The Emperor is loose. That's what happened at the end of Shadow of Revan. He did get loose to some degree, and he is doing this cool thing where he's doing mind control on a bunch of the military forces that are already on Ziost. And there are a couple cool cutscenes I did see where he's mind controlling various people, and they're walking in and talking. He's basically saying things out of like 3 or 4 different people all at once, and they're all talking to you in the voice of the Emperor. And there's some of that cool kind of stuff going on. And you fight them and blow them away, and then more walk in, and he's still controlling them and still talking to you. So.
Cool.
So I saw your spoiler in here that the Emperor is not Kefas.
Yep, they actually said that in the live stream that the Emperor is not Kefas. Then I think they said, or is he?
The other cool thing going on is this whole sect of the Jedi called the Sixth Line Jedi, which is a reference to them adding a 6th line to the Jedi Code, which is currently 5 lines long. And the line that they add is, "There's no contemplation, there is only duty." So they're sort of an elite strike force of Jedi who are involved in this story also, and I think their involvement will go deeper than just surface that they're out and about.
They're very militaristic Jedi, so I think that'll be like an interesting twist on the Jedi thing.
Yeah, so they're like a SEAL team, a strike force, elite squad, A team of a Jedi. But those cutscenes are out and about now. You can get on the PTS and you can go check it out and see the cutscenes and get there. So I think that I'm glad we're getting that. That should be cool. It does seem interesting. Then what else are we getting? We're getting the costume designer. So I know you looked it up. I got to play with it a little bit. What are your thoughts on the costume designer, sort of in background and what you've seen so far?
Well, I didn't get a chance to play with it, but it seemed like, from what I could look at it, that it's going to be pretty intuitive to use. I know that the cost is high, but they were careful to add on the live stream that the cost that's on the PTS is not the finished cost, which of course we've seen in lots of things in the past, that the cost changes when the thing goes live. So I'm not too worried about that. I do think that instead of having one tab for just the gear, for your gear, and then 15 or 16 tabs for cosmetic gear, that there need to be 2 or 3 tabs for actual gear, so that people can switch between a PvE set and a PvP set, or their tanking set and their DPS set easily.
Yes, so it is not a multi-spec or a multi-gear switching system. It is not an armory type system like that.
It is not that, and it's not a make your own gear look either. Like, you can't take the shoulders from this and the collar from that and the
Yes.
whatever.
Yeah.
Kind of.
You can't design individual pieces. So
No, all you can do is take actual pieces of gear and put them in the tab. So, I mean, if you were not managing your expectations.
yes, exactly. Exactly. That's where I was going. You know, you set your expectations too high, and you gotta go in low. And you got, if you went in low, then you got a thing that that worked out okay. And which I appreciate. I think it's gonna be fine. I don't think the prices are high at all. So I think you get the first outfit tab free, and then I think the next 4 outfit tabs are like $20K to unlock.
Well, but you also have to pay to put your armor pieces into the tab.
Right.
And I think that's where the cost is coming from.
So when you do that, when you have to put armor pieces into the tabs, I think to basically fill up a whole page with an armor set that you're making your costume or whatever is about $90K.
Yeah.
Compare that to, I want to switch out, wow, there's some cool new armor come from Ziost. It's a rep reward from Ziost, and I want to wear that new armor. It's like,
and now I have to put in 6 augments kits.
Yeah, I have to do all the MK10s for it. I have to 7. So I have to do 7 MK10s, and I have to pull my mods and slot my mods and my augments all into there, and I'm gonna spend $500,000,
Yeah.
it's a ton. So I think it's
Right about that.
it's. So what did I put in the forums? It's a bargain at twice the price. See, it's a bargain at twice the price.
I know there are people who are chasing those achievements where if you buy an outfit and equip it or whatever you have to do to get it, then you get those, working towards, if you buy so many cartel outfits, those achievements.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, they buy those outfits and they must just go to their banks because they can't ever really use them because you can't afford to use them.
Right.
This is perfect for them.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it's going to be great for me too because I can put an outfit or 2 in there. I probably won't put 16 outfits, but I really like the idea of being able to, just have something different in it, and I don't have to think too much about the cost.
Yeah,
And it doesn't
I
have
like
to
it.
be permanent. It's not only the cost. It's like I don't have to decide. Okay, now I'm switching to this, and it's going to be this for a while.
Yeah, I exactly. So I'll have some basic legacy set that I'll put my mods into, and I'll just keep that for my base set, and then I'll be able to swap out to some cool. I've got some cool older sets for my two mains especially. I've got like the Battle Master and some of the old PvP sets that I really like, but I like having the legacy gear since everybody's got so many characters now, because every once in a while I want to pass it around to use it on another character or on the other faction, and now I can still have the looks that I want, and Spherix can have that weird green and white butt flap on every character now, and so that's cool.
So there are some restrictions. So you could, if you use adaptive armor pieces, then of course anyone can wear any of them. But if you can't put heavy armor into a slot that of a character that doesn't have that armor proficiency. So if you have an Inquisitor, for instance, you can't use Trooper plate or something.
Yeah, a lot of people are complaining about that. I wonder if they're going to change that. I
wonder too.
I don't see why not.
Then there's no weapon slots, which I can totally see why they did that. I don't think die works on weapons either, even when you go unify chest. So
No.
I speculate about how maybe that's a difficulty issue too, where doing the animations for a different weapon. I don't know.
Yeah, that could be problematic.
And also dies are going to be kind of expanded in how they work. So you can dye a piece of armor before you put it in a tab, and then that piece of armor will be that color. No matter how many tabs you put that same piece in, it'll always be that color until you remove or destroy the dye. Or you can do it the other way around, where you put the armor in the tab, and then you stamp the dye, which is like how the outfit designer works. And the dye only works for that armor in that tab. And then if you use that piece of armor again in another tab, it'll be whatever the color was before you put it in the first tab. And if you remove the armor, it's going to destroy the dye in both of those cases. And the dyes, dyes are still going to be one use only for sure.
Yeah, that's the only limitation that I don't like on the dyes, is how they're single use, especially when you have some really expensive dyes you'd like to do something with. You got that black dye, or black dye, the white dye, white, all those the ones that were.
And I guarantee you, I'm never going to use them, because that's just not how my mind works. It's like I can't use them because what if I find something better and I wish I had it for that?
Yeah, I know. Same. I think I've got it sitting in one of my banks, or like actually at a bank, because I wouldn't even put it in legacy storage. I put stuff in legacy storage that I'm going to use. I put stuff that I'll never use on one of my storage characters, and just let it sit there.
Unified chest still works, so yeah, you can put dye on individual pieces, and you can stamp dye on individual pieces, or you can just put it on the chest and use unified chest just like now.
Yeah. So I wish the dyes worked more universally, but I think it's fine. I usually just pick. I'm relatively conservative with the color schemes anyway. I use a lot of gray, so max the gray, that kind of thing. So
I use a lot of gray too, but for me it's because the colors of the dyes are super saturated, and I'm not attracted to many of them. I like the dark red one, but mostly I like the blacks and the grays.
Yeah, the blacks are good. I wish there was more of the black, but yeah, so that's okay. So I usually just slot the dye into the chest piece, and then I'll be able to make some good sets. So we'll play with it.
I'm looking forward to it. I will definitely be a user of it. I do understand people's slight disappointment that you can't do things more creatively than just putting pre-existing armor into slots, but I mean I'll take it.
Yeah.
It works.
Yep, it is what it is, and for what it is, I think it's fine. It's useful. It could there are other systems that we could also want, and hopefully we'll get those someday.
I wish we could add the dyes into the outfit designer so that you could have like a collection of dyes, and then you could use those to dye your armor.
Yeah,
And then they wouldn't be destroyed each time.
that's a good idea. Right. Use just for the purposes of the costume designer. It would collect the dyes. That would be nice.
10 or 15 dyes or something that you could just store in like a little grid.
Yeah. So that's the costume designer. So then we've got Ziost. We've got the missions on Ziost. There's also I think there's a world boss on Ziost. I forgot to mention that. I didn't see it, but people saw some achievements. It sounded like it was like a Golden Fury, the Makeb boss that's instanced. There might be one of those on Ziost, so that's cool.
Oh, like an ops boss.
Yeah.
That is cool.
So I think we're gonna get some cool stuff on Ziost. We got the costumes system, and those are the main things, the two big things that are coming in 3.2. However, there's a bunch of other stuff that's coming also. We are getting some class tweaks to Jedi Knight Sith Warrior, Smuggler Agent, and Trooper Bounty Hunter. I'm not going to go into a lot of detail. I know you took a look too, Seema. I think we'll let that gel a little bit. There's discussion threads on the forums so that people can sort of discuss what's going on with those minor tweaks. It's relatively small tweaks in each of the cases, but you can take a look at that and you can jump into those forums and talk to the developers and yell about how you think it's terrible or too much or not enough or all the things that people say.
See, just from following the dev tracker, it seems like the main developer who's communicating with people over these class changes is pretty, or at least trying to be pretty transparent and pretty active in those boards. So if you're interested in that kind of stuff, I would definitely go check it out and add your voice.
And then a couple other minor things that are going in, but there's a couple of things I like in here.
Minor but major.
Game changers.
Yes, game changer right here.
The
QT will go to 0 CD.
Yeah, that. I think that's a big deal.
It is for me.
Because I play other MMOs. I play all the MMOs, and I get to any MMO where travel is slow, and boy, does it feel slow, and does it feel like a burden to have just the quick travel. And in quick travel, I really like in Star Wars. It seems it fits. It doesn't seem like game breaking or taking you out of the experience or no, it's a shuttle that's coming picking me up. It seems completely consistent, and I'll
I may be underground in a sewer or something, but still the shuttle can but it's still, I like it.
So I like it. And it having its cooldown, if you unlock it with legacy perks, going to 0 cooldown. Great. Sounds good to me.
Like previous to this, like right now, if you have all 3 levels of the legacy perk, your quick travel is on a 10-minute cooldown, which is pretty convenient. This is changing it so that even if you have none of the perks, it's going to be a 6-minute cooldown. So for not buying any perks at all, it's going down to 6-minute cooldown. So that's pretty cool. And then if you've already bought the perks, it's going to go from 10 minutes today to 0 minutes. So you'd just be going boing, 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 boing all over Balmora.
Right. And for social reasons and for grouping reasons and for going off and doing fun things on planets with friends, that sounds great to me.
Right.
Just
because everybody their QT will be off cooldown. So.
Yeah.
And they also added a little thing where you just have to get close to a quick travel station and then it will unlock. You don't have to actually click on it. And the dev on the live stream said he just got tired of riding up, learning to speed the taxi station, hopping on and flying off, and then going, damn it, I forgot to click on the QT station.
Yep. Yeah.
Now you don't have to click. And I personally am all for less clicking.
Right.
Fewer clicks is good.
That and speeder points will unlock automatically. And it sounded like, I didn't confirm, but it sounded like as if when you land on a planet, all the speeder points are available.
Oh, I did not take it that way. I thought they were specifically talking about Zyos, but now that I say that, why would they be?
Yeah, so I think we get that
So
too.
find out.
That's cool. They have also
They're
done
also
a
adding... You go.
they've also done a thing where they have changed all mounts to be adaptive speed, so that all mounts will be all speeds, up to whatever the maximum of your speed is. And I think this probably just makes things easier for them on the back end. But there's two mounts in particular that I'm excited about. One is the tank from Explosive
right.
Conflict, which was slow
Yes.
and now will be fast.
Yes.
And the Harati Scrapper, which is it's that speeder mount that's got it's all like smoke coming out of the back of it and sparks coming out of the sides of it. It's not a full speed mount, and now it will be, and I'm gonna ride it all the time. I love that thing.
That's awesome. I forgot about that aspect of it. That's cool.
Yeah.
Isn't there a Christmas one too that was slow? I mean, Life Day one that was slow?
I think maybe the very first one might have been, but maybe not. The Zamboni,
They're adding
maybe.
a subcategory to the GTN for companion gifts, which might make them somewhat easier to find. I don't think they'll be able to, make subcategories for each companion, which is what would make it easy to find. At least they won't be in with pets and everything else, but still.
Right.
I think you'll still have to know the name of something to find it.
Right. Which, yeah, exactly. Yeah. Every once in a while, I need to get some gifts, but now I've got my treasure hunting spun up, and I do all my own. So, and they're adding some decorations to the Warzone commendation vendor, so that you can use up your all the spare regular and ranked Warzone commendations that you have for some pretty good decorations. I think Delphi has all of the pictures of the decorations up. The couple that I like are from Voidstar. You can get the bomb that's on the wall, and it's an animated bomb that you put on the doors in Voidstar. And for Hutball, they called it the Hut Potato Stand. And I think that's obviously a pun on hot potato, but it's the Hutball stand that the Hutball sits on in the middle of the arena when you start.
Glad you explained that to me.
Yeah. So you can have one of those sitting in the middle of your stronghold. But that and I think that's about it. So
It's also going to be the start of PvP Season 5.
oh, so when it comes out, so April 28th will be the start of PvP Season 5. I see. So Season 4 is going to go up to the 28th then, and Season 5 is just going to start. There's not going to be any time delay in between. I remember that from their previous notes on how that's going to work. So that should be interesting. We'll have to see how that works out, just having that quick transition between those. And I have not done ranked yet. I'm thinking about it. I did notice. Did we talk about last week how they've outlined what the rewards are this season for
You mentioned it.
not having? So there's a black silver crystal, which is a reward for the lowest level of group ranked PvP. And they've made a change this season so that the lowest level of solo ranked PvP does not get that crystal. You need to get up to the second tier of solo ranked PvP to be able to get that crystal. And they explain their rationale for doing that, but it could be a little frustrating to some people.
What is the rationale?
Well, they didn't want people who are really unprepared for ranked PvP to be jumping in just because they're trying to get just the baseline level and just get that crystal. They wanted people who were actually knew what they were doing. And
They want people to jump in for no reward.
well, there's a couple basic rewards, but they want people to be actually trying to PvP and getting up to the next tier. And the key reason for that, I agree with to some degree, is because in solo ranked, what happens is you get randomly grouped with 3 other people, and then it's your random team of 4 against another random team of 4. And when you have people going in that don't even have PvP gear and are just jumping in and aren't really clear on the concept, that's fine. That's fine for them, but the ranking of the other 3 people that are playing with you at that point, their ranking gets affected, and their ranking goes down when you lose because someone's coming in just because they heard there's a cool crystal and they want to play. So I can see that they're trying to just take away the incentive for people just to randomly jump in at the baseline. So okay, I get that. So form a group and go after it with a group. And so maybe we'll do some group ranked in AIE and see how that works out. You're going to come, right?
I'll be rooting. See, I'm stopping.
Excellent. But with that, I think our little EPC-83 droid here has got his custom designed costume with his epic hat slapped on top of him, and he's all loaded up and ready to head out. So thanks for listening and or joining our chat room. And I know we had more people join the chat room over the course of the evening. Arctic Knight, Block Kevin also jumped in addition to the few others we had earlier. So thanks for tuning in. We'll continue to stream these on twitch.tv/newoverlords on Monday nights around 10 or 10:30 Central. And we'll continue to stream our op stuff on the other nights on that channel as well. For comments or questions, please follow us on Twitter @MaxTheGray and @AIESEMA, or find us on Jedi Covenant and ask us for a guild invite. We would love to have you in the guild. And you can find AIE Guild information on our guild website or on Facebook or Google+. Just search for AIE Guild and you will find it. And we will talk to you soon.